Dare I cut rhubarb with a knife? Or maybe I should pull it from the very bottom instead. That and many more questions that you didn't even know you needed answered right here, right now. Hi, I'm Getty, professional home economist and rhubarb cookbook author. I've got everything right here. When to harvest, how to harvest so you don't ruin your plant, how to store your fresh rhubarb, how to freeze it, and how to enjoy it. Join me. First things first, is rhubarb a fruit or a vegetable? Botanically speaking, it's a vegetable, and it's tart. We eat it like we do celery, so it should be a vegetable. But we also use it a lot like fruit, so we often call it a fruit. And did you know that back in 1947, a court in New York officially called rhubarb a fruit? And do you know why? Because of tariffs. Yep. Importers had to pay less taxes on fruit than they did vegetables, so they lobbied hard to call rhubarb a fruit. And now we call rhubarb a fruit, even though technically it is a vegetable. So when should you pick rhubarb? Well, stop waiting for the color to turn red. A lot of the rhubarb that we have goes from red to green. This rhubarb is never going to turn all red, so don't wait for the red color. That all red rhubarb that you see, that comes from a specific variety called Canada Red or Valentine. But honestly, I find those varieties just don't produce as heavily and aren't as hardy. That's why for most of our backyards, you find this variety. It's just so hardy. But don't worry, this is going to be just fine. How do you know when it's ready to harvest? This thin stalk is equally as ripe as this thick stalk. What I look for is length and leaf size. So when it's about 7 to 15 inches, for sure it's ready to harvest. A good leaf size. And once you get to know your rhubarb, when the coloring is appropriate for the type of rhubarb that you have. Remember, it doesn't need to be all red. So these are both great for harvesting. These baby ones, I'm gonna leave those. Ideally, you will pick from the very bottom. And the way you do it is you find your stem, you slide your hand all the way to the bottom, and then you give it a little pull and it comes right out. Slide your hand to the bottom and pull. So even the big ones, slide your hand all the way to the bottom and give a little pull. Could you use a knife? Ideally, it's best to pull, but sometimes it's just really hard to pull and you use a knife. And let's face it, rhubarb is pretty hardy. Pulling is better than cutting, but it's not the end of the world. With rhubarb, you do not want to harvest the whole plant. In the springtime, you can be pretty robust and take 2/3 of the plant inside and leave 1/3 behind. In the summer and fall, that reverses. You want to leave 2/3 and only take 1/3. That gives the plant enough leaves to be able to get energy to really grow a great root ball so that it can keep coming back year after year. And when it's really hot and it looks a little droopy, don't take any at all on those days. Anytime a leaf looks bad, don't eat the stalk. Sometimes you pull a baby up with the big stalk, and that's okay. The harvest, the plant. You've probably heard the leaves are toxic, and it's true. You do not want to eat the leaves, and in fact, you want to cut the leaves off right away. But don't get freaked out about it. They don't taste very good, and you'd have to eat a whole bunch in order to have some serious consequences. The most fun part of the rhubarb harvest. We don't want to eat them. We do want to put them in our compost. They are perfectly safe to put in the compost. Or check this out. Use them as a ground cover for weed control and to lock in moisture. Ready to take into the house. We have our rhubarb. Now what? Just taking off these ends, which I could have done outside, but the mosquitoes were just enjoying my company a little too much. Now off to the sink to go give them a nice wash. Now that they're all washed and trimmed, you want to pat dry your rhubarb. Here's how I recommend you store them. Grab yourself a plastic bag. A bread bag works well because it's nice and longer. Stick them in there, tuck in a damp towel. Put them loosely like this in the fridge. It's gonna last 1 to 2 weeks. I would check within 1 week for sure, just to make sure nothing's going oogie. Okay, let's freeze some of this rhubarb. And here's the thing with rhubarb, you do not need to blanch it. Most vegetables you do, but rhubarb you do not. So just go ahead and cut it to your desired size. We'll chop those in half, turn it like this. And here we go. Be safe and not cut anything that we don't want cut. I lay them all out on a tray and I'm gonna flash freeze, or what we call flash freezing in home cooking anyway. That way they will be free flowing when we take them out of the freezer rather than one big clump. Sometimes you will see that rhubarb gets a little bit stringy and people have asked me, should I peel the rhubarb? And no, typically I wouldn't peel rhubarb unless I stumble across a particular piece that is quite stringy or that is tough to cut. I won't bother peeling. We are done. I definitely want to freeze some of this rhubarb, but I also want to make some stewed rhubarb, so I'm leaving some behind for that. We pop this in the freezer for about an hour and then we finish it up. Through the magic of television, I have some frozen rhubarb to show you the next step. And that involves a freezer bag and a straw or some tubing. Scoop up the frozen rhubarb pieces and put it in our freezer bag. To prevent ice crystals, we want to make sure that our rhubarb doesn't have any moisture on it and remove as much air as we can from the baggie. If you have a vacuum sealer, of course, you can use that. We seal it up most of the way. Then we squeeze out as much air as you possibly can. Leave a little corner open, stick in your straw, and become a human vacuum sealing machine. So you just start sucking the air while closing the little hole. So 1, 2, 3. Not bad for a human vacuum sealer. Now put this in the freezer right away before it melts. Now, what are you gonna do with your rhubarb? In my house, there's a great debate about whether to make rhubarb custard pie or regular rhubarb pie. I think both are amazing, but they do take a little bit more effort. So I end up usually making muffins and rhubarb crisp, puffed oven pancakes with rhubarb, oh, my favorite pancake of all times, and rhubarb cinnamon buns. They're so good. I also make rhubarb juice or rhubarb juice concentrate. It's easy and so pretty. You basically take rhubarb like this and you cook it with water until it's nice and soft, and then you strain it and sweeten it just as much as you'd like. I like using it for lemonades, cocktails, mocktails, and various savory sauces. That's why I don't add the sugar at first. Now, before I leave you thinking that rhubarb is just for desserts, it's also great in savory dishes. So think rhubarb barbecue sauce, honey rhubarb sesame chicken, rhubarb poppy seed dressing, and this amazing rhubarb and caramelized onion focaccia. Wow, out of this world, it's so good. Today, I'm going to use this bowl of rhubarb to make another classic, rhubarb sauce or stewed rhubarb or rhubarb compote. It only takes 4 ingredients: rhubarb, water, sugar, and cinnamon. You can sweeten it as much or as little as you like. And basically, we just put everything together. So in goes 8 cups of rhubarb. I'm only using about ½ a cup of water. Basically, I just want the bottom covered. That rhubarb is going to release juice all on its own very quickly. And I don't want it too runny because we're not adding any thickener. I'm gonna toss in that sugar and some cinnamon. You could also add orange juice. You could add ginger, nutmeg, those really warming spices, those pie spices that we like. But that's all up to you. So there we go. I'm gonna put it on the heat and let that cook down for about 8 to 10 minutes until it's nice and saucy. You do still want a little bit of texture. So I like to press against some of the pieces against the wall of the pot just to see how tender they've become. And I've only got like a minute or two left. So my stewed rhubarb is finished. It has a little bit of texture, which I love, but you notice it's not bright red, and that's because of the variety of rhubarb I have. If you do want to make it red, you can add food coloring, you can add Kool-Aid, you could add strawberries or raspberries. You could also try adding tea, raspberry pomegranate, or hibiscus tea would stain this red as well. So I like to serve it over ice cream or make a yogurt parfait with granola. Try it in overnight oats or smoothies, or add a sweet tart surprise to muffins or coffee cake. You could also freeze it in convenient portion sizes so you have it instantly accessible for any time throughout the year. If you want 40+ tested rhubarb recipes, savory, sweet, preserves, you can get a PDF version or a print-on-demand copy. But really, just enjoy your rhubarb. For more information on seasonal produce, subscribe and follow for more.